WWF Monday Night Raw had another stellar television match, and WCW Saturday Night was there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dropkicks and Attractions. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. It is Dropkicks and Attractions, your favorite, you and your uncle's favorite chronological retro wrestling podcast. I'm, of course, Xander Invictus, joined by my co-host, Big Buck. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Xander. What you drinking tonight?
I didn't go to the store, so I have no C4 because it's the day off. I didn't feel like leaving the house. I have a white grape sparkling water.
Yum. I've got some Fuji apple water.
Oh, is that the Walmart kind?
Yeah.
Oh, that one's probably my favorite one.
Yeah, that is definitely their best one.
The creamsicle one's actually pretty legit, too.
Agreed.
I have a bunch of these stocked up at home because every time I go to the grocery store, I buy a few. So even if I don't leave the house, I have some stocked up.
Good deal.
I probably have like 8 to 10 just sitting there.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and do this. We got some sad news. We want to go ahead and mention this. We had 2 wrestling stars passing over the last week. Of course, we had the passing of Ole Anderson, who was one of the original 4 Horsemen, and is technically still part of it as we're speaking of 93.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace to him. Condolences to his family. And we will actually see him doing something with one of the most infamous Flair for the Gold segments coming up at Clash of the Champions, and I'll explain that once we get there. But yeah, he was a rough one. He was one of them Smash Mouth roughhouse types. He was part of the original Minnesota Wrecking Crew. It was Oldie and Gene Anderson, which then begat Arn Anderson, and then eventually he was one of the original members of the 4 Horsemen.
Storied career.
Oh, yeah. And then, obviously, the other sad passing was Mike Jones, who most people know as Virgil from the WWF, passed over this past week as well. He was the $1 Million Man's manservant before he broke free of had his own series with that, and then would go on to WCW as Vince in the NWO. He was Curly Joe / Shane in the West Texas Rednecks, that was a fun thing where they had rap versus country.
Oh, wow.
It was late 90s. It was basically Master P versus a bunch of country singers, which was basically Kurt Hennig, Barry Windham, and the like singing that they had a song that was very surprisingly popular called Rap is Crap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was fun. And by the way, there's always stories of, the infamous, you've at least read about the theory of Virgil stories on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do have a Virgil story. I won't share it here, but I have a Virgil story. Basically, all these tall tales they say about how Virgil was like at conventions and wrestling shows, 100% true. That guy was a character in a fun way. Like he had a lot of stories he would tell, but he was a fun character. I actually had the opportunity he was on one. Matter of fact, we spoke about the Bret Hart Facebook picture last week.
Mm-hmm.
He came to that show. I don't know if it was unannounced or whatever, but he came to that show and sat up a table to sign stuff at that actual show.
Cool.
So, yeah, Bret Hart wasn't at that show. We were just at a signing, and we were handing out flyers. But that picture that I took was the same day as the day Virgil showed up to our House of Glory show.
Good deal.
So, yeah, so obviously, I once again condolences to his friends and family as well. Also, there will be no show next week, and we'll mention this at the end of the episode. We do this every year. We'll be going to Fantasticon up in Toledo, Ohio. It's a mid-size, pop culture Comic-Con convention. We're going to see, the guys. There's going to be guys from Chips. Ponch and John from Chips are going to be there. Michael Bain from Terminator is going to be there. Sam Jones from Flash Gordon's going to be there. Myself and Bach and some friends of ours. We've been going every year since 2017? It was a couple. It was 28. Okay, either 2017 or 2018, because we were going for a couple years before COVID shut it down. If it wasn't for COVID, we would have been going but this would have been about our 7th or 8th year going. So if anybody sees us, come say hi. We charge $75 for an autograph, $150 for a picture.
Good grief, man. Hey,
you boys got to make some money somehow. No, but I'm joking. Anybody comes up, see us, come say hi. We're going to be there all weekend. So because of that, because with having to do all the stuff we do with the show, WWE 2K23 is coming out this week, and then we both of us work full time. We're just not going to have time to do the show.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of trying to rush and do a half-assed version of the show, we're just not going to do a show next week.
Mm-hmm. We'll pick up the week after.
Yeah, so you have 2 weeks to pump those views up for us.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, let's go ahead and hop into it. We are in the week of July 26, 1993. We are about a month out from SummerSlam and about 2 to 3 weeks out from Clash of the Champions.
Mm-hmm.
Monday Raw opens, and I was like, ah! Because right off the bat, as soon as the camera fades in, it's fucking Doink laughing right in the screen.
Oh, yeah, that caught me off guard, too.
Basically, he's calling out Macho Man for interfering with his match, that amazing match he had with Marty Jannetty a couple weeks ago prior to this.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically, he's calling out Macho Man. We'll see where that goes. And then it does open with Randy, Vince, and Bobby going over the card. And we're going into the big match of the night. We're starting off hot. We're getting the Bamster, Bam Bam Bigelow, with his main squeeze, Luna Vachon, versus Bret the Hitman Hart. And I'm excited about this because not only that, we have special guests.
Oh, yeah, we got Bret's parents.
Yeah, Stu and Helen. Those are his actual parents. The matriarch and patriarch, respectively, of the Hart family. Stu basically, Stu taught all the Harts everything he knows, and then we've talked about some of the wrestlers that went through the dungeon. Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Brian Pillman. I think Lance Storm had a spell in there. And then, of course, Natalia, TJ Wilson. Multi-generational school. And it wasn't really a school per se, but it was basically many generations came through there. And if you could survive the dungeon, you were good.
It had a reputation, and for a reason.
Exactly. And so while we're doing this, Bobby is on the phone with Jerry Lawler, who is in town but not at the show yet.
Yeah, that was unusual to me.
But yeah, the one thing, this is what I noticed this when Jerry Lawler, quote unquote, wasn't there yet. And I always know this was always a weird thing even before I got into wrestling, as, performing. The few times I did, but during when I was training, is that whenever you're on a show, right?
Right.
There's a call time to where it's like, we need everybody here by, let's say, 1 in the afternoon.
Right, just to prep for the show.
Prep for the show. That way we know, like, especially the people putting together the show, we know everybody that's going to be on the show is going to be there. Help put the, everything together for the show. You got time to go over the show, your match with your opponents.
And if anything does happen, then you can let them know and make plans.
Or just, if shit happens that you got time to fix it.
Right.
But we always notice that at any point during the show, there's always limos pulling up halfway through the show. So I'm like, oh, so you haven't been at the show all day. You're just now showing up.
Right.
It's weird to me.
Agreed.
Jerry Lawler's not there yet.
No.
But according to Randy, we started getting into the match. And this match was as good as I expected it to be.
Yeah, I love this.
This is a great match. Bam Bam, according to Randy, approximately weighs 156 pounds more than Bret. So let's use you because you're our math guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do some quick calculations. I'm going to Wikipedia. Bam Bam was billed at 390 pounds, right?
Okay.
So you got that, right? 390.
390.
Bret Hart, billed according to Wikipedia, was billed at 235.
Okay.
And we get...
That is about 155.
So Randy was pretty spot on.
Very close.
I'm saying, great start by both. This was a fantastic show. Luna does try to interfere. Remember, that's her main man, Bam Bam. She tries to interfere. Bret looks like he's about to comply to the adage, equal rights mean equal lefts. Because he looks like Luna was not afraid to jump in there and get nasty either. That was the thing.
Yeah, I gotcha.
This match had 2 commercial breaks in it, actually.
But yeah, this match took up almost half the runtime.
Yeah. We go back from commercial. There's a huge hanging back suplex from Bam Bam. Bam Bam is basically in control for the majority of the middle of the match. The middle third is all Bam Bam. And we go back to second commercial. Bam Bam's still in control. We get a huge comeback from Bret, who actually locks in the sharpshooter. But Jerry starts coming out. He gets on the balcony and starts talking to Bret's parents. And this was weird. And it was like, I get what Jerry Lawler's doing, but you could tell that Stu and Helen were up there in years, and it was really hard for them to understand. It was hard to understand them a lot.
Yeah.
But there were a couple zingers that Jerry Lawler did, talking shit about Bret.
Well, because I want to open my mouth and ask you a few questions. I wanted to ask you about when Bret, the Hitman, was a little boy. I understand that when he was born, Stu Hart had to try to collect on his accident insurance. Is that true?
You know, it's got to be
I
extremely
understand that when
difficult
he was
for
a
Bret Hart.
little kid, he was so ugly that for the first 6 months you diapered the wrong end. Is that true?
This just felt weird to me because it just, I don't know.
Yeah, Lawler was trying to get in Bret's head, trying to piss him off, make him angry, make him fight stupid.
Yeah, but he actually got into the crowd once. Bayman brought him back in, and then he threw Bret into the corner chest first. And then here's the thing: nobody could take a corner bump into the ring like Bret.
Yeah, I've seen him do that really well as we've been doing the show.
Yeah, like nobody could do it better. And it looked like he broke his sternum every single time.
Yeah.
He was just very good at it. That was his thing. And I did notice this. I don't know if you picked up on this, because here's the thing: this was the recorded half of Raw, right?
Really?
I think this is the record. You know, they record. Remember, we've talked about how they do.
Oh, right. They do one show live and then record the next one for the next week, right?
Exactly, and this is where I think that this is where I was like, oh, okay, because remember the Dairy Queen line from last week,
Right.
the live half.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that part was scripted, and this was why. I don't know if you caught this or not, because in the crowd towards the end of this match, if you look on the left side of the screen, somebody actually had a sign that said Jerry the Dairy Queen Lawler.
I did not see that.
So I don't think Tiny Tim was as clever as we thought he was last week. It's still a funny line,
Absolute zinger.
but somebody actually had it almost looked like dot matrix paper. It was one of those long banners.
Oh, yeah. Oh, like continuous feed paper, you mean?
Yeah, but it all kind of like how they did for like the dot matrix printers.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. This looked like this was, so I have a feeling that line was planned, and then they put that sign in the crowd.
Gotcha.
Which kind of takes the umph out of it, because I was like, this would have been funny if this was, Tiny Tim put his own spin on it.
Yeah.
Which, ironically, we're going to see Tiny Tim this week. But yeah, so Bret had enough after talking all the crap about his parents, and he goes through the crowd, and he actually gets counted out.
Yep, the match took 16 minutes, 8 seconds that we saw. Don't know how long the commercials were. But this was my match of Raw.
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing. A lot of times countouts are bullshit, but as long as there's a reason behind it, and this had a reason behind it, it's like, okay, he's going out there, he's going after Jerry Lawler, talking shit about his parents. I didn't mind a count-out loss on this one.
Yeah, bigger fish to fry.
So, Mean Gene is with the SummerSlam report, and it just hit me. The truck. We're talking about the truck that Luger won on the Intrepid at the Stars and Stripes Challenge. Said it was from Metro Detroit, and I couldn't put my finger on it, right?
Right?
Where's SummerSlam taking place this year?
Right, it's in Detroit.
Suburban Detroit, Auburn Hills, Michigan.
Right.
So I'm like, was that them being slick saying that SummerSlam was going to be in suburban Detroit this year? Like, it just registered that because that truck did say Metro Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, whatever happened to that truck? Did Luger keep it and sell it, or what the hell happened to that?
Good question.
But, however, we do have it official that Yokozuna versus Luger for the title is official. That will happen at SummerSlam.
Yeah, Lex has to cover up his metal plate forearm, but he's taken that in stride.
We'll have an interview later on, and I noticed this.
Mm-hmm.
We now have the full-on Made in USA Luger, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's had a match on, like, Superstars or Wrestling Challenge or anything yet, right? We're still using the narcissist profile picture on the screen.
Oh.
I don't know if they were like, hey, can you throw out the trunks real quick to have, a new picture? Or can we take a picture from, the Stars and Stripes Challenge or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand it was 30 years ago. It was harder to get pictures like that, but you wouldn't think it would be that hard.
You could have taken a picture at the Stars and Stripes Challenge and just posted like a live picture shot. It's supposedly like a studio, like a photo shoot type thing.
Right. Good point.
Because it was still the narcissist gear. You could tell by his gauntlets that was still the narcissist. So we come back, and Mr. Hughes is in the ring with Ross Greenberg. Not much to say. They do bring out another wreath. Ross falls to the Boss Man Slam type finisher for the win.
Yeah, 3 minutes and 7 seconds of Ross doing not a damn thing.
No. This is just continuing because, like they said at the SummerSlam report, we're getting Taker versus Giant Gonzalez in the yet-to-be-explained Rest in Peace match. One of the charges of Harvey Whippleman, who is also managing Mr. Hughes. So this is how we're using another wrestler to get a match over because the other wrestler is supremely bad. Is basically what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then, speaking of Tiny Tim, we get the video footage of the release of WrestleMania the album.
Yeah, I had no idea this was a thing until I saw this segment.
I'd never had the CD. I didn't get any of the CDs until, like, they were doing the WWF theme song volumes.
Mm-hmm.
The one I had was the one that had The Rock singing about pie.
Ha!
There was a song about that. That was the thing I had. That I used to listen to it a lot. But yes, Tiny Tim was there, guys.
Oh, I missed that.
At the very end, the WWE was gracious enough to give him a new ukulele, guys. So everyone can relax. He got a ukulele back.
All is forgiven.
Yes, I have a feeling that someone who was known for playing the ukulele, he had a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a tag team match. I don't know if you caught the names or not, because the Smoking Guns came out with their pop guns and scared everybody out of the fucking ring.
I saw that.
Yeah, it was Dwayne Gill and Glenn Ruth.
Mm-hmm. I took note of that.
Yeah, it's like you recognized them. I already have the results up on the screen, so I can keep names up. But you actually recognized the guys.
I did for once.
Yeah, and I noticed that they were talking about how the Guns had a rodeo scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing: that's actually kind of true.
Really?
Billy Gunn, Daddy Ass, went to college on a rodeo scholarship.
Neat. I had no idea.
So yeah, that was actually. They're like, they're cowboys. They went to school on a rodeo scholarship. It's like, no, that was a real thing. They just put that in there. That was true.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of this was, everything we've seen on the Smoking Guns. They did finger guns 875 times in this match.
Indeed.
And they did that also. They kind of fine-tuned it a little bit. I liked it better. The backdrop into the pile driver.
Yeah, they called it Trouble in River City. I like that name.
I like that. And they looked like they had fine-tuned, because the first time I saw it, it looked like the poor guy almost got spiked. This one looked cleaner.
Yes.
How long was that?
Yeah, 4 minutes and 22 seconds. And I actually noticed Dwayne Gill gave a pretty decent account of himself for an enhancement match.
Yeah, and 4 minutes with 800 finger guns. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, they must have been shooting those off constantly for it to be that many.
There was a lot. And then we get a vignette for a new wrestler who's already debuted on like the B shows, Ludwig Borga. Guess what, guys? He's an anti-American, a foreign heel.
As you do.
Oh my God, I've never seen that before. I'm from a foreign country, which at this point was Finland. He really was from Finland. Just don't look up the guy in real life. You'll.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that. He was not a very nice or welcoming gentleman. We'll leave it at that. Let's just say some of his tattoos had to be covered.
Oh, geez.
Anyways, so you're an anti-American heel who hates America, so you're coming to wrestle in an American country in an American-based wrestling federation.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah. All these anti-American heels want to wrestle in America. If I was anti-American and pro-Finland, would I wrestle in America if I had any choice?
You would not.
There you go. I never understood that part. And then we get a video, we get an interview. This is like before the show. So here's the thing. Right here proves my point. This was supposed to be Vince had an interview in the arena, empty arena interview with Lex Luger before the show, right?
Right.
Why couldn't they take freaking pictures of Lex in his new gear?
Right. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying now.
There you go. Because that just hit me now. I was like, he was in the arena for this taping. You couldn't get him to throw in the trunks or anything to do a non-narcissist picture for SummerSlam for your main event.
Right.
So yeah, so they talk about, and apparently they're going to have a deep discussion about steroids and everything else. This is a multi-part interview. And they do get some video footage of all the like autograph signings. Apparently he's going to be in your neck of the woods when you were growing up, coming up here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Cleveland area.
Yep. Maybe, how old were you? 20, you would have been...
I would have been about 8 or 9.
You could have gone to see Lex Luger.
I could have. Like, I vaguely remember knowing his name at that point, but I didn't know anything about him.
Yeah. Actually, I still remember the first wrestler I ever got an autograph from.
Who was it?
Bradshaw.
Oh, cool.
I was in the Army. He was at one of the PXs because they would always go to On Post for like autograph signings or whatever.
Yeah, I remember now why I know his name. The WWF Super Nintendo games. I rented those a few times.
Yeah. I rented Super WrestleMania, and then I didn't play another one until Raw. And I remember this specifically because they do have a commercial towards the end of the show for Super WrestleMania.
They've had a few of them in the last few weeks.
Yeah, because that was the new game. And you noticed that everybody had the same moveset too, if you noticed that.
I never picked up on that.
Well, they did, and then I know at least the one on Genesis, they each had their own special finishing move too.
That I remember.
Yeah. Well, Super WrestleMania that came out like when you still had the natural disasters and that it was the same stuff. Raw. I had WWF Raw. This is when they did this would have been the game after this one.
Yeah, that's the one I remember best.
I remember actually I could never figure out how to throw anybody out for the Royal Rumble. And I remember I was playing as Owen Hart in a Royal Rumble, right? Remember, Super Nintendo, you're not going to have long matches. This would have been like a 6-7 minute match, right? 10 minutes at the most. It got down to me and Shawn Michaels. I could not know, because you had to do, they had this special whoop-de-doo move to throw people out.
Right.
I figured out by accident how to do the sharpshooter. So I was doing nothing but doing the sharpshooter to Shawn because I had nothing else to do. He threw me out. I was in that match for fucking 35 legit minutes.
Holy crap.
Because I had no idea how to throw him out. This was like, you're talking pre-game facts. Or, hey, let me bust out my phone real quick.
Yeah.
I used game facts back in high school.
I actually still use their message boards. I've got a few communities there I'm in.
Yeah, we all use game facts. Everybody remembers game facts. But this was before that, so I had no idea how to throw because I don't remember if the instructions are actually in the case. But yeah, I played those games.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So, anyways, Doink versus Phil Apollo. Doink wins with the whoopee cushion.
Yep, 2 minutes 33 seconds, and there was some good chaining in there.
There was, but basically, this was Doink with this was the match the segment disguised as a match. Because Doink has the mic after a commercial. Doink has the mic, calls out the Macho Man. He wants a match next week. And apparently there's 3 Doinks because Vince keeps pointing them out.
Yeah.
And Randy actually has a small, quote-unquote, surprise for Doink next week.
Looking forward to it.
Trust me when I say it's a small surprise.
Okay.
Can you figure it? I'm going to see. Don't say anything, but I wonder if you can figure it out.
Is it a Doink action figure?
Nope. A little bit bigger.
Is it an actual whoopee cushion?
No. You ever heard of the Macho Midget?
No, I have not.
Wait till next week. All right, guys, that is Monday Night Raw for this week. I said what I said. Brett and Bam Bam match of the night.
Absolutely.
Overall, the show was good. We're continuing storylines. We're moving on the road to SummerSlam. We get to see Tiny Tim again, which thank God. But overall, this was a solid, I'd say a B.
I agree. B, maybe B+.
So we get WCW Saturday Night, July 31st, 93. We are the last day of July. We're getting to the end of summer already, folks.
Yeah, it's going to be this one, 2 more, then the next Clash.
Yeah. And then we'll have to do some stuff because there is going to be, especially when we get closer to SummerSlam, there are going to be a couple weeks. We have no Raw. Because remember, this is when Raw would still be preempted for the U.S. Open and the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show.
Right.
So I'll figure out how we're going to do those shows. We may do at least one heavy WCW episode because SummerSlam is going to be fit in there too. We got a Clash to fit in. There may be a WCW heavy episode in there somewhere. I'll have to figure out the days and we'll let everybody know.
Good deal.
So, match of the night. All right. We're hopping right in with our boys, Too Cold Scorpio, Marcus Alexander Bagwell against Big Sky, and somebody who's not only Top Gun, he's Cuba's Top Gun.
Again, this is someone I had never heard of.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, wow.
I did notice that the rope sounded very loose for this match.
I didn't notice that.
The way they hit him, they didn't hit him super hard, but they sounded like those. I have a feeling those ropes got tightened after this match because they sounded a little loose. And I noticed how Jesse's giving shade to Top Gun, talking about what's he at? Tony, what's he the Top Gun for? He's from Cuba. The only planes they have are crop dusters.
Yeah.
And then he said he was blown up. He's like, his stamina may not be the best because of all those Cuban cigars he smokes.
Yeah.
Because Cuba.
Yeah, we know Cuba.
I have had Cuban cigars because here's the thing. There's the Cuban embargo in the U.S. Doesn't apply to any that we're the only, as far as I know, it's one of, if not the only country in the world.
Right.
So you can't get them in America, but if you're elsewhere, you can get a Cuban cigar. I'm a cigar smoker. I like the occasional cigar.
You've talked about that before.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Cuban cigars. They're okay. They're not as good. They're not like, oh my God, these are amazing. They're just as good as any other cigar. People only want them And people only get them, because you can get them in America if you know the right person. They're not hard to get. People only get Cuban cigars because...
The idea of forbidden fruit.
Exactly. I've tried them. They're good, but it's like, oh, this is... matter of fact, they were just as good, but because they were just as good, I was slightly disappointed because I'm like, that's it? Like, I'm expecting to take a puff and a fairy fucking fly out of the ashes, you know? I mean, you hear these stories about, oh, I got you a box of Cubans, Michael Jordan smoking Cubans while he's playing golf, you know? It's just like, oh my God, these are amazing. I was like, no, they're just as good as every other one.
Yeah, the way that they didn't live up to the hype.
Exactly. This match basically was all Scorpio and Bagwell. There was not much sizzle to this steak. But there was a time where Jesse was complaining about like how, because at one point that Scorpio went for a sunset flip on Top Gun, and Bagwell went for a dropkick, you know, and then he got out of the ring. The ref got him out of the ring before he made the count. That's fair. Jesse said that shouldn't have counted because it was a double team move. And I'm like, Jesse, you know you're wrong.
Yeah, like you always get double teams in matches. Like, why would you take issue with this one?
Because they're the good guys and he's the bad guy.
Of course, how foolish that be.
Yeah, there you go. Don't do that again.
Okay.
So we go through, and this is a point where Bagwell was smart, but at the same time, he made Top Gun look so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because they go to the end, and Top Gun has Bagwell pinned, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ref's not down there. You can visually see that the ref is standing up. He hasn't started the count yet.
Right.
So while they're down, Bagwell pats Top, and they show this on the replay.
Mm-hmm.
Bagwell pats Top Gun on the back, so Top Gun thinks that's the ref patting him on the back, telling him, hey, you can get up now, the match is over. So he starts to celebrate.
That made, like, why would you do that?
But, I mean, smart on Bagwell. But Top Gun looks so stupid.
Yeah, that...
So Bagwell is actually able to hit Fisherman Suplex for the win.
Yep. 11 minutes, 13 seconds. I thought this was a pretty good opening match.
Yeah, this was a good match. Unfortunately, this was probably the best match of the night.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah. This wasn't WCW didn't have their best showing this week. So anyways, we get back from commercial, and Paul Orndorff with his TV title. For some reason, Paul Orndorff was already sweaty. So I don't know how far into the taping this was. He keeps talking about how he's going to face Ricky Steamboat at Beach Blast, which is not true.
Because that happened already.
So he's facing him at the Clash, but he keeps calling it Beach Blast. And then they do mention this, but Tony's like, oh, he was just excited for the match. And then out comes Ricky again with another Pollard Short doing the woo moments.
Love it.
This is kind of funny because Ricky Steamboat never really did that kind of stuff. So this is kind of fun to watch. He was very stoic and serious. He was never whoopee.
I gotcha.
So we get Ron Simmons versus because it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah, this person was not even named.
And at the end, it didn't matter because the guy goes for a couple blows. Ron chucks him out of the ring. And then Steamboat rolls Orndorff in. So apparently now it's Simmons versus Orndorff. All right. Because that's how that works.
This whole thing was weird.
So they wrestle a little bit. They have graps for a bit. Simmons gets poked in the eye. So he pokes the ref in the eye. And the ref's down for the rest of the match. Orndorff grabs a foreign object out of his pants, but Simmons rolls him up and Steamboat counts the fall.
This was 2 minutes flat, and this was weird.
Yeah, this was a no contest. Nothing happened here.
No, not a thing.
This was weird.
Very weird.
And then Jesse and Tony come back from commercial with the end of the Flair Wyndham match at Beach Blast, which was nice because they're like, oh, I don't have to take notes. Ooh, cool. Quick dinner break. And then we get a quick Flair for the Gold. This was not a segment. I think they recorded this elsewhere. They might have just recorded this prior to a show. Rick was on the set of Flair for the Gold, basically calling out anybody that wants a shot. So we go to commercial again. Tony is back from commercial with Max Payne talking about his match with Johnny B. Bad tonight, which is going to be no DQ.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so we get Paul Roma and Otis Apollo, who apparently his mom didn't love him because Jesse said his mom named him Otis. Hey, Bach, do you want to win a Z28?
Sure.
You could, because they said somebody at the Clash is going to win a Z28.
Love it.
And then I was thinking, Jesse was like, Otis, wasn't Otis from Mayberry, Mayberry? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm thinking, like, I used to watch Randy Griffith growing up, and I'm like, Otis was the drunk, wasn't he?
I never really watched Andy Griffith. I don't remember.
I think Otis was the drunk, because they had a guy he was the town drunk, very WCVL's wino-like, that he was always the drunk, so he would come in, grab the keys for the jail cell, lock himself in a jail cell, and he would just sleep it off every night.
Huh.
That was the running joke. He'd walk in, everybody's like, hi, Otis. Hi, guys. And I'm going to go to sleep now. Okay, Otis.
Huh.
Yeah, so anyways, I also remember that if there's anything pop culture related, you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So Paul Roma gets a splash for the win.
Yep, this was solid, I thought. 3 minutes, 14 seconds.
Not bad.
Not bad.
So we go to Jesse is back with Dustin Rhodes. He's going to try to get who's Dustin Rhodes' mystery partner is, because apparently Jesse is his idol, apparently.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, nothing happened out of this. He got nothing out of it.
Yeah, when Dustin didn't tell him, Jesse's attitude 180'd so fast, I'm surprised he didn't get whiplash from it.
Oh, I know. So we get Lord Steven Regal coming out with Scott Studd, who actually is the future Scotty Riggs.
Oh, neat.
I think this is the first time I've seen him. I remember seeing him in WCW. At least he'll be on later, but like this is his debut. And I like how Jesse described Regal's style as rough scientific. Whereas like it was very scientific, the methodical, but he was also rough. He's going to grind his forearm into your face. He's going to make you earn every little step you get. I've never heard it described as rough scientific, and I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, especially when you watch throughout this match how Regal is just, the word I used was dissecting Scott Studd here so well. And then the part that surprised me is we get to come back at the end of the match. Studd gets some stuff in, and Regal caught him. Regal normally didn't catch people like that.
Yeah, he caught him, hit a backbreaker, and then what was described as a chicken wing double arm suplex. That was cool.
Yeah, double suplex, and then he locked in an abdominal stretch, and then brought it to the ground. A very cool looking grounded abdominal stretch for the submission win.
Yeah, 5 minutes, 32 seconds, and that brief rally from Scott, I think that's the most I've seen Regal challenged at this point.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I would say outside of the match he had with Eric Watts at Beach Blast. So Regal's ringside with Tony, talking about his match with Scorpio. It's like, 2 Code Scorpio? Who names himself 2 Code Scorpio? And then, because reasons, out comes Tex Slazenger and Shanghai Pierce, and Regal is so appalled that these people are touching him.
Yeah, this segment was so good.
It was good, but I was like, why the fuck are they coming out for whatever reason? Like, no reason. No reason. They weren't talking about their match later. They did a little bit, but I'm like, why? And then they were like, you could just see that Regal was known for, especially when he was discussing his facial features.
Yeah.
He had him here. And I actually remember him saying, oh, Sir William, did you see that he had dirt under his fingernails? Draw me a bath. I need a bath right now.
Regal plays that part so well. I love it.
It gets even better as it goes on throughout the years. His facial expressions are amazing.
Love the sound of that.
He's not afraid to laugh at himself, and you'll see that.
That's always nice to see in any kind of performer.
Yeah, he's not afraid to make himself goofy. Like how Bobby Heenan's not afraid to make himself goofy to get, the point over.
Right.
Yeah, Regal's very good at that. Speaking of short matches, we get the Kongs coming out with Harley Race versus Johnny Gunn and Tom Zank. Splashes for the win.
Yep, 46 seconds. Z-Man got squished between them.
No, it was Johnny Gunn that took the fall.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, they threw Tom Zank on the outside. Trust me, it was so short, I'm surprised, I'm surprised I called it. So Tony is ringside still with Harley Race and the Kongs. Harley's talking about how King Kong is out and have a match with Sting at the Clash, and he's very mad that with the match Vader's having with Bulldog for the title, if the match ends in a DQ, Bulldog wins the title, and he's not very happy about that. So we go into... This is why I was so excited. We get Ravishing Rick Rude and the Equalizer versus Brad Anderson and Tommy Tana. Guys, the Equalizer finally got to pee.
Yeah, it's a miracle. We
finally got this man a toilet fucking 3 weeks in.
I know.
I'm happy. That's why his hair wasn't as blonde. And then I heard Jesse actually say, well, where did Rude find him? I'm like, ask Paul Orndorff, because he was with the Orndorff for 1 week. and then he's just with Rude.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yeah. With no, I don't know if they explained it like on like Pro or Power Hour or any of the other shows they had, but we got no explanation.
Nope.
So there was a dope move where Rude had a hanging vertical suplex, turned it into a press slam, and then dropped the guy throat first over the top rope. That was awesome.
That was brutal. I loved it.
And then there was a match where I wrote in the notes, "Holy shit!" And you know what I'm talking about, and I watched it on the replay too. They tag in the Equalizer, who hits. It looked like some sort of like spinebuster, Bossman's type slam. The guy literally landed on the crown of his fucking head.
Oh yeah. It looked like he could have died.
And they showed it in the replays after the match was over. He landed on the fucking crown of his head, not the back of his head, not his neck. It wasn't like a shoulder, typical back bump that just like super stuck. He landed on the crown of his fucking head.
Yeah, that replay made it look so bad.
It looked even worse. Because when I first saw it, I was like, oh God! And then you saw on the replay that it was like, oh God! Like, this man could have gotten hurt because he did land on his head.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so they go through the match. Rude looks like he's going to go for the Rude Awakening, but he just stops it. And then Equalizer gets tagged in and lands a full Nelson for the win.
3 minutes, 33 seconds. Good debut for the Equalizer.
Yeah. And so we get the Rude with the Equalizer, who still hasn't got it down yet, but he's better at standing where he's not blocking the camera.
Yeah.
Not good yet, but he's still there. And then there was this really awesome quote that Rick Rude had about the mystery partner, because he's like, we need to train. I need to know who the partner is so I can train properly. Where he basically told Rhodes that the road to hell he's got a two-way ticket to the road to hell. It was really good.
WCW's ripped me off one time before for the U.S. title. It's not going to happen again. Once more, Dustin, it's a round-trip flight to hell and back. You and your companion, booked-in coach. No snacks, no refreshments, no victory.
And I just thought, once again, Rick Rude with the fucking hard quotes.
Oh, yeah.
It was really good. And then Tony's back with a video about the recently passed Ice Train with his manager, Thunderbolt Patterson, who we saw Thunderbolt Patterson at Slamboree. This is basically what this was Ice Train's last match in the Indies. I didn't get to see a lot of Ice Train. I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling during this time, so I didn't get to see a lot of Ice Train. I really liked what I saw here. This is basically his last match before he went to WCW.
Yeah, it was a good match.
Oh, I'm excited to see Ice Train.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw clips here and there, but to actually be able to watch a lot of Ice Train, I'm kind of excited to see. Like I said, I get a lot of Keith Lee out of this.
Gotcha.
Like, I would have liked to have seen those two go at it. So we get Tex Slazenger, Shanghai Pierce versus the Cole Twins. And they did, Eaton and Benoit did say this at the beginning of the show, that they're going to come out and they're going to watch this match because they want revenge against the Coles for getting the win last week.
And we see them watching throughout the match.
Oh, this match was not good.
It was, not so much.
This was not good. There was a whole lot of... Here's the thing with the Coles. Like, if you get them, like, sub-5, not bad. But this was... What was the... we'll go ahead and get... What was the go-ahead and the time for this match?
11 minutes, 9 seconds.
11-minute match, and it felt like it dragged because the Coles were doing the exact same moves the entire match.
You see, yeah, it felt longer than that.
Because they were doing the same things. There was nothing there original. Yeah, everybody has their movesets, but it seemed like their moveset was like the same 3 or 4 moves.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, even if you have twins, they each have their own little zhuzh when it comes to movesets, right?
Right.
Even like the Bellas, before they had their own individual like identities, like the latter end of their career, you could still tell the difference. They each had their own little things they would do different.
Yeah.
These guys did. This was like if you did a randomizer on a wrestling game and you got the exact same wrestler.
They felt like clones of each other.
Yeah, and not in a good way. At least the Bellas you could tell apart.
Yeah.
So basically what had happened, and they get to the match, is one of the Coles goes for a vertical suplex. Shanghai Pierce takes his leg out, and Slazenger gets the pin.
Yep. As mentioned, that was 11 minutes and 9 seconds.
It was not good at all.
Yeah, definitely not.
Tony is ringside again with Slazenger and Pierce, who get into a fist fight basically with Bobby Eaton and Chris Benoit.
Yep, and they get set up for a match next week. Looking forward to that.
And then here's the thing. Like I put this in my notes at the beginning of the Saturday night. I forgot to mention it. Here's the thing. Chris Benoit was never known to be good on the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
He got a lot better than this, though. This was not good Benoit on the mic.
Yeah.
He got much better. So yeah, speaking of which, we get Sid Vicious versus Rob, with Rob Parker versus Leroy Johnson. Like you mentioned, they do confirm that we are getting Eaton and Benoit versus Pearson Slasher next week. I do like how Sid Vicious and Leroy Johnson are in matching gear.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, like, you had the orange trunks from Sid, and then Leroy Johnson had the black singlet with the orange. Like, oh, they're matching. That's sweet.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's nice. And then Sid beat the dog shit out of him.
Yeah, Leroy was selling that shit like mad, and that made it fun to me.
Mm-hmm. Sid looked like a monster.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Yeah, but I'm just like I said before, I'm really come to appreciate Sid more as I'm older. But yeah, powerbomb for the win.
1 minute, 23 seconds.
This was better. This 1 minute match was better than the 11-minute match we had before this.
Agreed.
So, and then we get into our main event. On paper, this could have been cool. It was Max Payne versus Johnny B. Bad, who's in his white mask this week.
Mm-hmm.
In a no DQ match. And at the first, I was like, okay, we're going to fight.
Yeah, I was hoping for a fight.
This is where this is about where I look at it. I'm just thinking.
Let them fight.
Big move. Johnny B. Bad goes for his left. Remember, his Tutti Frutti finisher's the left hook.
Mm-hmm.
His hand met post, and I was like, oh, there goes your finisher.
Yep, ouch.
And really good. This was a really good fight. This was where it was supposed to be. Here's a point I noticed from Jesse. Once again, heel commentators using logic.
Right.
Max Payne locked in the painkiller. Johnny B. Bad got to the ropes. What kind of match is this, Bach?
This is a no DQ match.
So, Max Payne should not have. The ref got Max to break the painkiller because Johnny got into the ropes. The ref shouldn't have done that.
No, because, again, you're not going to get disqualified for it. Why break it?
Johnny may not tap because he's in the ropes, but he's not going to be able to break it. And Jesse's like, well, this is bullshit. Well, that's not what he said, but basically, it's like, this is bullshit.
He was indignant about it.
Yeah, and Tony's like, so? Like, no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, no.
The rules are for both sides. And then, so, right after this was really weird. Out of anybody to interfere, out comes fucking Paul Orndorff.
That was kind of random.
Why?
I don't know.
This is just like, how about this? I'll talk about this. I was doing universe mode I'm streaming universe mode for my creator wrestler on 2K23, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was at NXT, and I always like playing the bad guy, the technical slasher. That's me. That's my nickname.
Right.
I have the clip too. I beat the dog shit out of Ilya Dragunov, right?
Mm-hmm.
Out of everybody that comes to save him, Grayson Waller.
Why?
Thank you. I'm just like, I've had this, that was my big feud in NXT was Dragunov. And out of you could have had any of the good guys come out. Fucking Grayson Waller, who was not a good guy, as far as I know, didn't turn face during my universe mode. Grayson Waller comes out with the chair to save him.
Completely nonsensical.
Oh, by the way, I never got a match with Grayson Waller the next week. Why?
Weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is what it felt like.
Gotcha.
Like Orndorff was just the random part, where you can have interfere in your matches. Out comes Orndorff for some reason. So Johnny B. Bad looks like he's going for like an atomic drop or a back suplex. Orndorff pops him with brass knuckles, and then Max Payne gets the win.
6 minutes, 20 seconds.
That soured the match so bad.
Yeah.
This made the match not that good. So they're beating on freaking Johnny B. Bad, and out comes Ricky with the chair, and that's how the show ends.
Yeah, this was definitely not WCW's best outing.
This was not a very good show. Honestly, nothing really. I think the best match is either going to be the tag match at the beginning or Regal and Scott Studd.
I think I would go 1A, 1B on those.
Yeah. But like we got nothing out of this show, honestly. Other than the Equalizer damn near crippling somebody.
The show happened and that was about it.
Yeah, this is a very good C-.
C- is exactly what I was going to say.
So, honestly, Raw had this like not even close.
Yeah, very, very big gulf between the two.
The matches were better, the storyline progression was better, the build-ups were, everything about it was better.
Agreed.
And obviously, we already said that our match for Raw was Bigelow and Brett, and I'm going to say the match of our episode is Bigelow and Brett.
Agreed.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Dropkicks and Traxxas for this week. Remember, we spoke about this at the top of the episode. There will be no show next week. We will be in Toledo, Ohio for Fantasticon.
Come see us.
Yeah, come if you see us, come say hi. Remember, I don't charge for autographs, but he does.
No, I don't. What are you talking about?
Shh. I'm trying to be the one that looks better out of this.
Okay.
But we're going to be there all weekend, so if you see us, come say hi. So remember, no episode next week. In 2 weeks, we'll be going closer to the Clash and then closer to SummerSlam. Where can we find you, sir? And do you have any other projects in the works?
I am at Big Boct on most socials, BIGBOCT. I have a podcast about exploring technology, exploration as you named it. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm still workshopping where I want to start with that.
Okay. Do you have any ETA on a possible debut yet?
I would like to get it going by the end of April.
Okay.
How about you? Where can we find you on the socials?
I am Xander Invictus everywhere. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Oh, by the way, everybody, thank you. I posted a video about the season pass for WWE 2K24. I went over the season pass. Oh my god. First off, thank you, everybody, because as of right now, that video has 405 views in 4 days.
Cool.
Yeah. So, thank you, everybody, for that. And then, shorts are doing well, like my most recent one where I beat Roman Reigns with a spear. Doing well on YouTube Shorts, doing well on TikTok. I'm happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got a WWE 2K24 is coming out this week, at the end of this week. I'm going to get the WrestleMania special edition, the WrestleMania 40 special edition. Road to WrestleMania, I think it's called. I'm just blanking right now. So we'll be able to play that a few days early. We'll be playing that on Twitch. I'll be doing the My Rise and the Road, the Superstar, the
story mode, basically.
Well, they have the male and the female story mode, but that's the My Rise. And then they're also doing the showcase mode, which is about these famous matches from WrestleMania.
Gotcha.
We'll be playing those. We'll be making like I said, we'll be making the characters for The Office. And that's going to be exciting. Also, following on all the socials. I have a podcast I would like to get done sometime in the spring, too, called Retangibles, where I talk about movies and TV shows that either maybe streaming or maybe taken off, but it's something that you can still watch because there's a physical copy of it that exists.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, like I said, a lot of shows are getting canceled, or like, if you've been following the whole Acme movie, Coyote versus Acme.
Yeah, the whole thing with Warner Brothers Discovery canning things and removing things just for tax write-offs.
They're actually talking about straight up deleting Acme or Coyote versus Acme.
I hadn't heard that part. Oh my gosh.
They're going to straight up delete it.
Like, I know they shelved the release indefinitely for, again, tax write-off, but I didn't
Oh, not even indefinitely. They're not going to release it. It's done.
Ugh.
And then there's talk about they're going to straight up delete it from existence.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which is basically the same thing that happened with Batgirl.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that too.
When they canceled that was about 95% done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was just some of the cleanups to make it finish, but it was all, for all intents and purposes, that was done too. And that was Warner Brothers as well, so their CEO's an asshole, and I'll say that right now.
Yeah, David Zaslav, I think is his name. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. So, anyways, now that we end that on a downer, thank you everybody for coming into Dropkicks and Attractions, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Take care.